Hello, hello, hello. You all come in. I have to say this like three times. Come in, come in, come in. Hit the like, hit the share button. And I have this quick conversation I want to have with you all. I know I usually only live stream about crypto, but if you on my YouTube channel, in the past that I've talked about other financial topics as well, right? To free people financially. And speaking of that, that's the entire concept of Bitcoin, right? Most people think just because I say Bitcoin that I'm against XRP, and that's not the case. That's not the case at all. They have two different use cases, right? But the entire concept or idea or focus of Bitcoin is about to cover what I'm about to talk about right now. And let's talk about usury in the financial system when it comes to lending out money, right, to everyday working people. Usury in the central banking system when it comes to lending out money. Now, um, someone sent me a message, an email rather, and they asked me for assistance and helping them to pay down or information, knowledge, whatever you want to call it, to help them pay down their mortgage faster, right? So approximately 15 years ago in 2011, they purchased a home, $275,000, 3% finance, right? Most people think that your interest rate, if you at 2 or 3%, they look at that as the holy grail of a mortgage. They don't understand the bigger picture of it, right? They figure if I got 2-3% interest rate, I got cheap debt, right? In order for me to buy this house. But, during 2019, I think, was it 2019, the housing market boom, or was it 2020? I was telling people that interest rate is just front loaded on the purchase of the house, meaning that they just charge you upfront thousands more for the home, and you got a quote unquote low interest rate. But let's continue to talk about this, right? So they purchased a house, approximately $275,000, 3% interest rate. I think 2011, and they asked me, right? So that they're making their monthly payments, um, which is very inexpensive now in 2024, almost 2025 is was approximately a little over $1,500 a month, right? So they wanted to know, how am I paying $1,500 monthly, and my original amount of the loan, $275,000, only $75,000 is paid off. Well, first of all, kudos to that person who's even taking the time to look at their statement, because a lot of people now, they've opted out of having paper statements, and they don't even look at their mortgage statement anymore. They just pay the monthly payment, right? They just pay the monthly payment. So first of all, kudos for paying a monthly payment. Now, this is what most people don't understand about usury and loan financing, is that when you purchase a home, it's called amortization interest rates, right? Amortization interest that's applied to your house when you purchase a house. It does not matter if you at 2-3% interest rate. Amortization still is going to hit, and that 2 or 3% is going to be 5 or 6 figures of interest that's front loaded on your house, even if you're at 2 or 3% interest rate, right? So you pay that in what's called your escrow. You have to pay the interest. It's already calculated in the escrow, the amortization interest, as well as your taxes for that house. Now, let me make this clear. I'm not trying to um, discourage anyone from being a home buyer. Very few people can say they're home owners because you really don't own a house ever, especially if you can't pay the property taxes. I know some people that had to relocate because they couldn't afford the property taxes. And this is where we get the quote from, that two things in life are certain. And what are they? Death and taxes. For sure. For sure. Two things in this life are certain that you're not going to escape of is death and taxes. And the best you can do with your taxes is just do whatever you can do to get more tax shelter, to lower your tax burden, to get in a lower tax bracket. So I'm not trying to discourage anyone not to buy a house, right? Because me myself, I lived in an apartment, and I just didn't like apartment living. It just wasn't for me. However, sometimes renting a house for people from a financial long-term perspective is much more better than buying one. And let me get back to the topic. So, purchased the house, 275,000, still owe 15 years later, 200,000 because of amortization interest rate. That means that your mortgage is front loaded, it's applied. I posted this on my Facebook, and someone left a comment and saying and said, you know, kudos for telling people things that they already know. People don't already know how interest rate works on a mortgage. They don't know that. They don't understand how amortization interest works. Most people don't even understand how interest rate works on a vehicle or a credit card. Right? They don't understand, for example, that if your credit card's APR, annual percentage rate, is 18%, that is calculated in the daily interest. And most people don't even understand or realize that if you pay your credit card balance off in full every month, you won't even get charged the interest rate. You pay your balance off full every month, you won't even get charged interest rate. So you have a difference in what's amortization interest, compound interest, and simple interest. See, simple interest is the interest that you have when you purchase an automobile. Now, that interest is simple because they know that if you don't pay your vehicle note, that they can seize the vehicle. It's called repo. So they give you simple interest, which is the best. But with credit cards, you understand that interest is compounded daily, and then it's calculated monthly from your APR. So now the person is saying, my original loan was $275,000, and 15 years later, I still owe 200,000. Other stuff factors into that. Like if you have a FHA loan, it's called the MIP insurance. MIP insurance is mortgage insurance protection. MIP. If you have a FHA loan, why do I think that's a scam as well? Because if you cannot make your mortgage notes, the bank is going to get paid through that insurance. Meaning, if you foreclose, something happened, right? You had lost the income, or life happened. Maybe you got some type of medical thing. Um, Now the MIP, if you have a FHA loan, you pay it. You're the payee, but it does not benefit you. It guarantees that the bank will get their money. It benefits the bank. So my thing about MIP is, if this insurance is in place to protect the bank, then why don't the bank pay the premium and not the payee or the person who's buying the house? Because it does not benefit you, but they make you pay that if you have a FHA loan. And the foreclosure will go on your credit report, damage your credit, you lose the house, the banks keep the house, and then they can resell it so they can get the money from you if you default on the loan, as well as the next buyer that comes in to purchase the home. So it's a win, and it's a tax write-off for them. It's in the books for a tax write-off. So for you, it's just a loss. So, what's the best solution? Most people say make principal only payments. I absolutely agree. You can call your mortgage and ask them, can I make principal only payments? And whatever amount of money that you have that you can allocate to pay just towards the principal, which is the original amount that you borrow, then you do that. However, when I purchased a home, it was through JP Morgan and Chase, and they did not offer that option. When it was for me, JP Morgan and Chase, you could not make principal only payments. So my Dave Ramsey people are going to say, well, just make an extra payment or make biweekly payments. Listen, the only thing biweekly payment help is the daily interest when it's applied. Like if you have a vehicle and you have a simple interest loan, that's daily interest. So if you pay that vehicle biweekly, it'll be more beneficial than paying on a house mortgage biweekly because it's front loaded anyway. It's already built in the loan and the mortgage. So bi-weekly, make an extra mortgage payment. That puts a little dent in it, a little bit. But if you can, and this is why having good credit is so very important and vital, because I hate it for the people. And I've just heard that filing bankruptcy is a little bit more complicated than what it used to be. But this is why people with bad credit pay 5 times more for a vehicle than someone with good credit does. This is why people with bad credit um, never can really own anything. They never pay off anything, right? Because you're paying 5 or 10 times more. But the best solution of all of this, if you have good credit and positive cash flow, and this is why I tell people, if you have a home or you have an apartment, if you're renting or you're home buying, that you most definitely um, need 475 tax deductions from having a digital home-based business, because the bills and utilities that you're paying, your light bill, water bill, gas bill, your cell phone, things that you're going to pay anyway, now it becomes a home-based business, whether you have a house or not. That's just the name. You can be renting because you're going to pay these things anyway. Now they become a tax write-off because you just position your place of residence as a home-based business. And I'm not talking about type home-based business where you're doing hair or nails or you're cutting hair, you're a barber, where you got people coming in and out your place of residence and there can be a liability. Somebody slips and fall, or you're selling products at your house. That's a liability because somebody buy your products and it causes them some type of skin rash or something like that. Now they can sue you. Somebody come to your house and they slip and fall, they can sue you because they're on your property and you're doing business on your person and from your personal resident. So I don't recommend that type of home-based business. I'm talking about a digital home-based business where people, right, do not come to your place of residence, but you still get the 475 tax deduction. Now, the best solution, again, if you have positive credit and positive cash flow, good credit and positive cash flow, is to get a HELOC. Once you built up equity in your home, well, first of all, if you can make principal only payments, that's the best solution first to start off with. Then that helps you build your equity. So after you build your equity faster in your home, if you were to take out a HELOC and then use the money, the equity in the HELOC, to pay towards the original mortgage, see, it takes discipline and it takes positive cash flow and good credit to do this strategy. And then you deposit your paycheck in the HELOC. And then you pay all of your bills out of that HELOC, right? Some HELOC have the options where you can have bill writing. I know we don't really, use checks anymore to pay off bills. They may have a credit card option, or they may have it set up where you can just link that account to pay off your bills. So now you pay off your bills out of your HELOC checking account versus a regular checking account. Deposit your check. Once you deposit your check, that counts as a payment. And now you're not paying all of that amortization front loaded interest rate, and you can pay off your house in 7 to 8 years versus 15 or 30. That's the ultimate mortgage hack, because there are some people who want a house. They want the convenience, they want the space, they want the yard. They don't want to be able to hear what's going on with their neighbors upstairs or on the side of them or downstairs. But if you just do it the traditional way, because they don't teach you these in schools, if you just pay your mortgage the traditional way, you are going to pay 5 to 6 figures back just in interest rates. You're going to pay double. And someone on Facebook left a comment, says, well, your house is valued at double, so you can sell it. Well, now you're back at zero. But in a bad economy, in a market crash, your house won't be valued at that amount. It's only in a good economy that you'll have an estimate of what the resale value of your house will be. We get in a bad economy, that equity in that estimate drops. And so the point is, the banks are getting paid back, even if you're at 2 or 3%, double the amount that you borrowed in 5 or 6 figures, and you pay for MIP insurance in most cases on an FHA loan, in which you're paying that to protect the banks. It doesn't protect you. What sense does that make? So once you have to pay an MIP and pay your escrow, a lot of people don't have the money left over to pay on the principal. So when people come to me and they bragging about how big their house is, or how, the loan amount, I know this person doesn't have a financial education, because you don't understand how to even repay the mortgage to your benefits, right? And second of all, the square footage of a house is not your location of a house. Wherever it is more valuable than the square footage. Location means everything in residential properties. So someone can have a smaller house, a better location, but that house could have more equity and deemed get a higher estimate of resale than a house that's bigger than theirs, right? And usually the people with the bigger houses have the bigger mortgages, and they pay back the bigger interest rates anyway. So I'm so glad that I purchased my house after the '08 housing market crash. And when I did that, I made that move, I had equity instantly built in. So this is just for the people that bragged about they can have 2%, 3% interest. That's great. That's good. But interest rates are just interesting, because if you don't know how to pay that mortgage to your advantage, this is why the rule of 72, right? The rule of 72. I don't know, was it Albert Einstein that made this quote? Those who let me make sure. The rule of 72. Those who understand it earn it, and those who don't pay it, right? Those who understand it earn it, meaning that compound interest, if you have money investing, if you're investing money, interest rate, compound interest is wonderful. It's wonderful. But if you're not investing and you're the payee, and you're not the person that has your money working for you, you have you don't have your money working for you and you're going out working for money all the time, then you're going to pay the compound interest. You're not going to earn it. I can't find who said that. I think it was Albert Einstein. Selena says, I'm just waiting on the economy to crash. That's very smart, because that's why I was telling people in 2020, I think, or 2019, people were going out buying houses and things, and they thought they was getting such a great deal because they lowered the interest rate, and that lured them in to buy a house. And they paid $15,000-$20,000 more for the house, though. Ugh. But people thought that was a great deal. And that's why people don't understand money and finance. That's why they don't teach this stuff in school. Because if you understood it, yeah, I know so many quotes, but I can't think of the people that said them. They said, people truly, who said this quote? You all can Google it for me. If people truly understood the banking system, that there would be a bank run overnight. Like, if you truly understood how usury works and borrowing money works, you will be the biggest investor that there is and let compound interest work for you and not against you. And that's why libertists, people that was libertists, this is why they wanted Bitcoin. Because they said they want out of the usury. They want out of the banking system. Now, is central bank good? Yes, for people who know how to take debt and use it as a tax-free strategy and get assets. Let me say that again. Central banking is great for people that know how to take debt, because debt, when you borrow money, that's tax-free, and get assets. But middle class people use debt to go and buy things, a vehicle, a house. They don't ever use debt to buy assets. They don't ever use debt to invest. And they only use debt if they have to invest in a brick and mortar business, which is better than most, right? At least you invest in it. But, sometimes a brick and mortar business, their lifespan of lasting is 3 to 5 years. So you have to be even careful with that. You have to be a highly intelligent investor. So this is why people support Bitcoin liberals that want to be out of their central banking system. Now, central banking system has its place, again, if you have this financial education, because you can go borrow $300K from a house. How long would it take for you to work to save up cash to buy a house? Right? This is why I don't believe in Dave Ramsey philosophy of save cash for everything. You can't save cash for a house, number one. So he should be teaching better principles of how to pay it out faster than to make bi-weekly or pay an extra payment. Let's put a small dent in that. But also he doesn't teach investing principles. He teach very conservative investing that oftentimes doesn't even beat inflation. Inflation like 3% a year. And he teaches to put your money in very slow investing streams that doesn't even outpace inflation. So this is the purpose of Bitcoin. People want it out of the centralized banking system. They say it's usury, it's robbery, right? U.S. is taking a page out of China's book when it comes to housing. Don't expect housing costs to go down in 2025 as Redfin. Well, it might not, but at least they can do is lower the interest rates. I think those other countries are taking notes from America. Like, people don't understand how can I say this? Treachery the United States is. Like, we think the United States is just, I won't even get into that, but I just say this. I listen to Candace Parker, and I believe a lot of what she teaches, she's saying when it comes to Israel and the United States. And like, other countries are asking the United States, why are we importing our goods to the United States for your dollar when your dollar is a depreciating asset and United States is not producing anything. That's why you see made in China on a lot of the stuff that you just bought for Christmas. And they say, we don't want your devaluating currency. It's not backed by anything of value, but it's backed by United States military because as Donald Trump said, if you dump the United States dollar, we're going to war. And that's why most countries accept it. That's bullying. That's threatful tactics. When you know that our dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power when Nixon pulled it off the gold standard, and then you went and make Saudi Arabia accept it for its oil, and now Saudi Arabia said, we're not doing it anymore. That's why it's called the petrodollar. If other countries have the riches, then they say, why should we accept your dollar? We're the one that has the commodity. We're the one that's doing the intense labor. We're the one that's bringing more produce to you. So why should we accept that depreciating asset and be under that usury as well? But that's a whole nother topic for the other day. He said, save up from your paycheck to buy a house. Shaking my head. By the time a person does that, the price of the house at least triple. Right. Listen, Dave Ramsey stuff is antiquated. It doesn't work anymore. See, Dave Ramsey advice was when the dollar was attached to gold and we didn't have this inflation, when the dollar still had value, when the dollar had a commodity, right? We'll never see 1950, 1960 prices again. Why? Because that's the ramification of when Nixon removed the dollar from the gold standard. And when Saudi Arabia stopped accepting US dollars for its oil. It's not backed by anything. If you're in the crypto world, this is why you all want the stable coin from the RLUSD to be backed by gold or precious metal. Like Ronald Reagan said in 2011, I've never seen a country who did not have their money backed by precious metal. I never seen that type of currency survive. Just fiat itself is Latin for let it be so. Why do people trust the United States dollar? Because the United States said you're supposed to trust it. Let it be so. But it causes inflation. It causes you to, and then you're gonna pay taxes. That's why I tell people, if you're gonna pay up to over 30% on earned income tax, the tax from your labor, and you don't even know who the Fed really is because the Fed is not government. At least put yourself in a lower tax bracket and get a digital home-based business. But this is the catch-22. Most people look at, well, I get back 10,000, 9,000 back for taxes. So I'm good. I don't need a home-based business. Well, that has to keep you in a low income bracket. You might get $10,000 January, February, March, but by March again, you're struggling financially. And some people even take out loans against their income tax return just to buy Christmas gift for their kids. Like, why? Why? It's not that serious. To where it should be a financial burden on you just to give a gift. You can give a gift to your child any time of the year. Don't let the pressures of society and other people, what other people are doing. Because my friend guy told me this. Anyway, he said, it's Jesus' birthday. So why is everybody else receiving gifts? It made sense to me. I was like, that makes sense. It's not even y'all birthday. Because they found a way to create a holiday. According to the Bible, Jesus was born between spring and October anyway. But they found, this is called capitalism. They found a way to monetize off this. So they created a holiday. They created a holiday. And they put the religious, and they pull your heart with it. And it keeps you broke. And it keeps you under the pressures of peer pressure and what's going on. And, my kids going to go back to school and they're not going to be able to say they got anything for Christmas. Well, if you really raising mature kids, like Tyler Perry had a quote that his child get books and I think puzzles for Christmas because his child is going to understand that he's the one. Tyler Perry said that I'm the one working, not him. You see how different wealthy people think from middle class? Like me and my daughter don't even get caught up in that. And she's older, yes, but when she was younger, I did buy Christmas gift. But when I came until more understanding about capitalism and these created holidays to get people to spend their money that they don't have and they're going broke, me and her began to have these conversations, and we're fine. Because I'll get my daughter as needed whenever. Doesn't have to be Christmas. It's just I go to the store, I see something I think she likes, she got it. So I don't put that man-made holiday pressure on me. See, this is how this works, capitalism. Now this is just a rant. January they created New Year's. They want you to celebrate New Year's Day. People gonna go celebrate New Year's. February Valentine's Day. March they collaborate the school system. This is spring break. Spend money again. April, you can do what April Fool's Day and what else? Um, what is St. Patty Day? I think maybe I'm off. Because I don't celebrate that. May they say, okay, let's graduate. People gonna go out and spend money for graduating public school. They even do it now for grade school. Like if you graduate from kindergarten to first grade, they give you gifts. But anyway, so public school, college, universities. Um, May is graduation. Oh, Mother's Day. I forgot about Mother's Day. May. And then we got Father's Day in June. And then they added Juneteenth to get some more from the Black and Brown community. Oh, yeah, Cinco de Mayo. Thank you. Cinco de Mayo is in May as well. And then they added Juneteenth for the Black and Brown community. And then guess what? Black and Brown community said we're going to double deal. We're going to celebrate Juneteenth and July 4th. And July, 4th of July. Then August is back to school shopping. And then September, Labor Day, right? And then October, they made a Halloween. You're gonna spend for Halloween, and then November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas, and it keeps people spending all year round and don't have financial education. I haven't even added in birthdays and anniversaries, or if a loved one passed, you know, people are going to give them, food or money or something, some type, for their bereavement. So people always have a consumer mindset. They never even, some people have not even looked at their mortgage statement in months or years. They just make the payment. There is an old saying, we spend money we don't have to impress people we don't like. Or guess what? Maybe you do like the people and they don't even like you. How about that's even better? So this is my rant. Mortgages are a scam. Get a financial education. Try to get out of your MIP insurance because it's not to protect you, it protect the banks in case you default on your loan. So pay that balance down quick as possible. Make principal payments and then graduate from principal payments to HELOC strategy. Make sure that HELOC has a way for you to pay your bills out of it for it to fully work. Get your check deposit in it. Pay out 7 to 8 years and shift that money from going to the banks to now shifting that money to coming back to you in your household. Also, for the home-based business opportunity, somebody says, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you are here as well. I can't find my links right now. But for the home-based business opportunity, okay, here we go. Go to this website. If you're a person who don't get tax refund back and you can get less taxes out of your check, we call it a paycheck pay raise. Less federal taxes taken out of your check, which increase your cash flow. Could be from $500 to $1,000 a month. Depends on if you're married or if you're single, or and how many exemptions you have to claim. But the tax professionals will do all of that for you. You don't have to worry about that. And it helps you on the back end too. It helps you on the front end with your paycheck. Get more money out your paycheck up front, right? Instead of giving the government your taxes and money. And then on the back end, it helps you when it's time to file taxes because now you have more tax exemptions. See, if you're an employee, you don't have tax exemptions. You just have deductions. So now you have more tax exemptions and deductions to claim, which means you probably more than likely won't even be in position to owe back while you get less taxes legally taken out of your paycheck. So you work with the tax experts on that so you're not doing it wrong or find yourself in tax liability, right? So that's it. Go to millermoves.com. If you don't have good credit and positive cash flow, you won't be able to escape this rat race ever. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Yep, you are absolutely correct. Get a Black's Law Dictionary. Mortgages read as liability and debt. It's mortgage where we get the word mortician. That means to death do your part. They really want you in that mortgage till you die. That's how it's set up and structured because it's so front loaded with interest. Either to you work and die to pay it out, or they want you locked in for life. That's why many people don't even keep a house for 30 years to pay off a mortgage. They don't know how it is to be mortgage free ever. They'll sell it and just go buy another house. And also refinancing. That restarts the clock all over again. That's a way for them to get more money. That's a scam too. It does not save you. All that front loaded. That interest rate still gonna be front loaded on the refinance, your mortgage. So a lot of people do that because they think it's the interest rates, but it does not matter, 2-3%. It's still going to be thousands you owe back. It's the way that you pay back into the principal. Interest rate matter, but it doesn't matter as much as you think. Because somebody even with a 7% interest is going to pay back in interest just as much as somebody with a 2 or 3% interest. Because most middle class people think if I got 2 or 3 interest rate, I am so superior to those who got 6 or 7%. No, you're not. Look at your mortgage statement. You're paying back 5 or 6 figures. That's what you're doing. If you don't change the way you're doing it. Peace. Queen out.